Hi, I am Anna. I come from www.ntvforex.com. The new red peril represents a golden opportunity analysis. http ntvforex.com news ID 47C3A88252025 p.m. Contrary to much politically motivated, media-fueled paranoia about Russia, the former Soviet Union, with a shrinking population and a GDP smaller than the market capitalization of Apple, poses no serious threat to U.S. economic preeminence. NBSP China, by contrast, is a rising superpower that could in time topple the US dollar's world reserve status. That could also signal the end of US geopolitical hegemony. The Chinese Communist Party is playing a long game. NBSP even as conflicts with the administration of President Donald Trump escalate on multiple fronts, Chinese officials are looking ahead to a post-Trump world order. President Trump said in a Fox News interview Sunday, if Biden is elected, China will own our country. A Trumpian hyperbole perhaps. But China evidently does have an actual stake in the Biden campaign. According to a recent report from the U.S. government's National Counterintelligence and Security Center, we assess that China prefers that President Trump, whom Beijing sees as unpredictable, does not win re-election. China has been expanding its influence efforts ahead of November 2020 to shape the policy environment in the United States, pressure political figures it views as opposed to China's interests, and deflect and counter criticism of China. In other words, China may be actively trying to sway the election for Biden. NBSP not difficult to imagine why Beijing would like to see Trump defeated. No modern U.S. president has been more openly critical of the regime or engaged in more direct actions to thwart some of its economic objectives. Hopes of an amicable resolution to the trade war were dashed after the Wuhan coronavirus spread to American cities. Since then, the Trump administration has moved to ban the Chinese-controlled smartphone app TikTok and to list Chinese companies from stock exchanges. NBSP the U.S. closed China's consulate in Houston, and China retaliated by kicking out some U.S. diplomats and journalists. So far, however, China has continued to retain more than $1 trillion in holdings of U.S. Treasury securities. NBSP at the same time, though, China has been stockpiling huge amounts of gold. The world's second-largest economy still relies heavily on U.S. dollars for banking and trade with other countries. That dollar reliance will change in the years ahead if China gets its way. The China Banking Regulatory Commission recently noted in a Communist Party publication, in an international monetary system dominated by the US dollar, the unprecedented, unlimited quantitative easing policy of the US actually consumes the creditworthiness of the dollar and erodes the foundation of global financial stability. It added, the world may once again be pushed to the verge of a global financial crisis. Chinese authorities need only sit back and wait for the US dollar to steadily lose credibility on the world stage. The US government is running a record-high budget deficit on top of what was already the world's biggest debt load. Meanwhile, the Federal Reserve is running quantitative easing on full blast with a vow to increase the rate of inflation, i.e., currency depreciation. Neither Trump nor Biden offer any plausible solution to America's financial predicament. Americans face a future of more borrowing and more printing until America's pain-free ability to do so expires, along with the Federal Reserve Notia's privileged status. Famed economist Nouriel Roubini wrote in a column Monday, if the coming decades bring what many have already called the Chinese century, the dollar may well fade as the yuan, also known as the renminbi, rises. Weaponization of the dollar via trade, financial, and technology sanctions could hasten the transition. Beijing is developing a digital yuan that could help accelerate international use. It's unlikely, however, that a global yuan standard will emerge immediately to replace King dollar. China has credibility issues of its own, including human rights abuses, opaque capital markets, and unreliable economic data. The ultimate alternative to a fiat currency standard for both individuals and nations is gold. While neither China nor the United States is likely to declare a return to a gold standard, global markets could effectively impose one by revaluing the price of gold to reflect what would be required to back currencies. For example, geopolitical and economic NBSP forecaster NBSP Jim Rickards NBSP sees gold rising in the years ahead to reflect a price, in terms of Federal Reserve notes, that would be necessary to back all the currency in circulation. NBSP based on current money supply figures, he sees gold needing to go to at least $15,000 ounce. Rickards' $15,000 ounce target may seem at first glance to be outlandish. But is it any more outlandish than the Dow Jones Industrials trading at over 28,000 right now, or Apple shares commanding a $2 trillion market value, or total stock market capitalization being 170% of GDP? An excessively inflated stock market is but a symptom of underlying monetary excesses. NBSP when the party on Wall Street finally comes to an end, investors may come to realize that in this environment cash is not king, whether in the form of dollars or yuan. Gold and silver are. Subscribe our channel to receive the news as soon as possible. Thank you for watching. If you want to read real-time news, text messages to MT5 Expert Advisors page at https://m.me/mt5.expert.advisors.